Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're all doing well. I thought I'd shift the focus a bit by doing a commentary on a movie that I've absolutely adored since I was a kid, and that is none other than Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
May the Force be with you.
You guys have most likely been staring at that poster for the last how many videos now? Yes, I am a Star Wars fan. I'm more of a prequels fan though, if I have to say. Yes, I am a huge Star Wars prequels fan.
I never would have guessed that.
Now, this doesn't mean that I've forgotten anyone's film requests. I'm still going to be doing all the movies that were requested, but I thought I'd mix it up and see if this gets attention as well. This channel is still very new, so I'm still trying to grasp on what kind of an audience it will have later on down the track. So don't worry, we will definitely be going back to the classics and all. I definitely won't be ignoring any of my requests. Alrighty, let's get started. So, The Phantom Menace was a very special film for me. I think I was 11 years old when it got released back in 1999, and I had already seen the original Star Wars movies as well by then. I remember seeing the original movies at my cousin's house, who absolutely adored them as well. And when I say originals, I do mean the originals and not the special edition that came out in 1997. Yeah, I definitely saw the originals on VHS way before 1997 edition, which I absolutely loved as well. So I was already a fan of this universe way before episode 1. But this movie was so different for me. We were given a new trilogy that would continue the story by going back to the past. I couldn't be any more excited as a kid, and it was at the perfect age to see it as well. To be able to experience this era in the Star Wars universe was absolutely crazy for me. When the trailers got released for this movie, I was so hyped up for it. I was so hyped up for it, I couldn't even contain it. It was great to be a kid back then, to be able to just enjoy something without being a hard critic towards it either.
There are things I cannot do, but there are certainly things I will do.
And then I remember watching the unique character trailers as well, which were on my back then Adele computer that I had. Back when we had to dial into the internet. That was ancient times. Let's not go there again. I'll never forget, my mum surprised me on my birthday by buying me an action figure toy from the movie and a movie ticket to go see it with her. It was a very happy moment for me. For anyone that remembers those action figure toys that you bought, and they all came with a little voice hard drive that you would have to wave on top of another cool gadget, you rock. Because those little gadgets had to be the best thing ever that came with the action figure toy. I remember buying almost every action figure from the movie back then, including Padme Amidala's toys, to only destroy them later on. Yeah, I was a really bad kid back then. I don't even have that cool little gadget that makes the noise come out. So devastated about that. I also remember collecting the making of book and the dictionary to this specific movie as well, because I remember they all had a dictionary on their own. Pretty sure I still have them in the cupboard somewhere. And I remember going to a party as well, a Halloween party back in my 20s as Darth Maul. I hired out a makeup artist who did such a great job with the makeup and the horns. And I bought the dual lightsaber as well. I don't know what to do. Yeah, this movie rocked my world. I had never seen anything like The Phantom Menace before, particularly with its visual effects. We had already seen very cool CGI being done and everything by then, but in my opinion, The Phantom Menace blew it up to another level of crazy, where it was a complete CGI galore fest. That being said, now that I look at it, this movie probably doesn't hold up with its CGI shots at times. But that's okay, I still love it for what it is. And yes, I'm very much aware of how much this movie has been butchered over the years by fans since it got released, and I can understand why. Although I do believe it's also found a new love as well in recent times, which is great. I do believe that George Lucas was trying to create something unique over here, and he did. I'm really glad that I treasure this movie so close to my heart, because it really was special to watch. I loved everything about this movie. I guess what I'm really trying to say is, I'm glad I saw it at my age, because later on down the track, you can't help but criticize a movie down to the T, and it was just a perfect age to just be able to enjoy it for what it was, without having to look into the past and say, oh, but you screwed up that bit, oh, but you didn't put that bit, and it's like, I don't want to do that, and it's like, sometimes you just want to enjoy it for what it is. It's also been 15 years since I've watched this movie, so it should be interesting to see how I perceive it now. So I thought rather than reacting to the movie, I would just do a commentary since I know this movie quite well and I treasure it so much and love it so much. I thought it would just be more ideal to just comment rather than, you know, actually react, because I feel as though it's not going to be authentic if I do that. I figured this would be a more better way of doing it really, and just, you know, being able to show how much I love the movie.
I think it's time to watch the movie now.
As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's get this party started. Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
The Force will be with you, always.
I thought George Lucas did such a great job of telling a timepiece where things were at peace. So it was very refreshing to be able to see, you know, this side of a story where things are just about to be abrupted. I thought they did such a great job with the vehicles and the starship designs as well in this movie. Everything looks very slick, you know, very smooth sort of textures, including like the Naboo starships, Royal Queen's starship and everything.
Don't center on your anxieties, Obi-Wan. Keep your concentration here and now where it belongs.
It's pretty cool being able to see Jedis in their prime as well, right? Because this is telling the story of when they were in their prime and everything as well. So being able to see a master and an apprentice side by side and everything, that's pretty cool as well.
I don't want this stunted slime in my sight again.
Lord Sidious, aka the Emperor, still very menacing. Still reckon he's one of the greatest villains of all time as well. Of course, along side by side with Darth Vader, of course. But Darth Maul is in there as well.
Patrick, look!
It's great when they use practical effects and special effects. You know, you can tell that's like a special effects sort of a explosion rather than a visual effects. The lightsaber choreography in this movie is fantastic. It's, you know, really showcasing what Jedis were capable of doing back then. Such a cool robot design, I love it. Look at that shot. Isn't it amazing? I can never get enough of that shot. It only runs for a few seconds, but my god. The amount of times I've had to pause on that shot just to see how beautiful it looks is ridiculous.
Will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
Hats down to Trisha Begar, who did all the costume designs for this movie. I thought she did such an amazing job of creating the Queen's wardrobes and pretty much all the costumes, of course, for the movie and everything. But, of course, particularly for the Queen's wardrobes, because we all know that, you know, she goes through a numerous amount of, you know, wardrobe changes throughout the movie and everything. But, my god, I think this one has to be my favourite, in all honesty. They're all fantastic, but this one just stands out so beautifully. It just has this sort of Japanese geisha sort of a look to it as well, with the makeup, and the headpieces are so gorgeous. The amount of headpieces that the Queen has is just out of this world, but I love it. It just looks so great. This one in particular over here has a very interesting design at the bottom, where she has these lights at the bottom of the dress. Looks stunning. But yeah, this one I think is by far my favourite.
Musical Jar Jar Binks, missing your humble servant.
That won't be necessary.
So I'm pretty sure Jar Jar Binks was the first ever fully computer-generated character in a live-action film with motion capture. So that was pretty cool to see for the very first time, you know, because I think it made a big difference. I thought he looked fantastic. I never had an issue with Jar Jar. Never. There was never a cross in my mind where I thought, you know, he was annoying or anything like that, or, you know, whatever people were complaining about throughout the whole years and everything about him just not being adequate and just being an absolute breaker of a character. That never resonated with me. I never had an issue with Jar Jar. If anything, I found him quite entertaining as an 11-year-old kid. I think it's absolutely devastating, the fact that, you know, these celebrities got a lot of bullying throughout the years with their characters that they portrayed. Ahmed Best and Jake Lloyd in particular is what I'm kind of referring to the most. But yeah, it's just absolutely devastating how they got butchered to death for, you know, playing these characters, and it was just so uncalled for, just really unnecessary. I thought they did such an amazing job of creating these city designs. You know, the Naboo city. But yeah, this underwater sequence over here is just amazing. How they pulled it all together and everything.
We should know care about Naboo.
Also, hats down to Ian McCaig, who is art designer, I think it was. He did such an amazing job of creating these characters as well. I've met him in real life and he is an absolute gem, that guy. Such an amazing art creator. It's always amazing to be able to see how people come up with, you know, creature designs and everything like that.
That is because you were clumsy. You mightn't be saying that.
Aw, there, Jar Jar. There. This sequence over here was very interesting to watch. You go from small fish to middle fish to big fish, right? It's like 3 fishes eating one another. They all look pretty cool though. Fish number 3. Yeah, I can relate to you, Jar Jar. I'd probably faint as well. This movie has a lot of miniature sets as well, which is fantastic. I absolutely love it for it. But I can never tell if that shot over there was CGI or if it was an actual miniature set. Or maybe it's a combination of both. It's so cool how that dress lights up like that. And you get to see the back of her hair as well and how long it is.
I have assurances it will be ratified by the Senate.
I will not cooperate.
Who would have thought that was a young Keira Knightley? I would have never have guessed that. I only found that out only recently, actually, that she was playing the decoy queen. Such beautiful shots of the Naboo city. In all honesty, it's a place that I would want to be in. I've always had an interest in more so the art side of movies and everything like that. But yeah, the visuals of this movie is just gorgeous. Slick as, boys. Slick.
Either choice presents great danger to us all.
We are brave, Your Highness.
Hey, Padme. The real Padme. God, these droids seem so useless, hey? Especially when you have the Jedi fighting them like that. It's like they literally just cut them through like butter. Having known R2-D2 from the previous movies already by then, I got very excited seeing him like this. Yeah, it was very exciting for me to watch him here.
I was back!
Well done, R2. Well done.
This is my apprentice, Darth Maul.
Hands down, one of the coolest looking villains ever. I love you, Darth Maul.
Miss a day starting pretty okie day with a brisky morning munching, then boom!
For a motion capture, Jar Jar Binks looks pretty cool over here. I mean, you know, there are very few shots over here where he doesn't look right, but for the vast majority of it, he does look great. Such a slick looking starship. It's interesting seeing how the ships, you know, evolve from episodes 1, 2, and 3, and to then later going into the actual originals where they don't look so slick and, you know, pretty to look at really. It's regressed over the years, right? Because of the Empire taking over and everything.
Her Highness commands you to take her handmaiden with you.
Hey, Natalie.
Move in! We have lots of that.
Such a cool creature design.
I'm a pilot, you know, and someday I'm gonna fly away from this place.
Now that I look back on this movie, the dialogue and the acting can be quite wooden at times, I'm not gonna lie. That's forgiven though because of how quickly the movie is edited and, you know, it's quite fast paced, right? Because, you know, you go from one scene to another quite quickly on, especially at the beginning of the movie, right? In the midst of all of that, you also have quite a charismatic sort of an actor like Jake Lloyd, who I think brought, you know, a lot of energy in the midst of, you know, all these actors who unfortunately are a little bit wooden in their acting, but that's more so got to do with the fact that, you know, their characters are certain ways, right? Queen can't show too much emotion, Jedi can't do the same either, and then you have a child over here who is full of energy, full of life, and I just thought he did such a great job with bringing Anakin to life.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't!
Unfortunately, he isn't weak-minded. So your tricks are no good over here. Gotta give credit to George Lucas for creating completely new languages and whatnot that are completely made up.
I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations. How might I serve you?
Aww, C-3PO. I thought they did such a cool job of like just showing him in this way where, you know, he doesn't have actual parts or anything like that. And who would have thought Anakin created him?
My parts are showing. My goodness.
It's funny because I know that there is a green screen person behind C-3PO after watching the behind the scenes footage and everything and how they did it.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
Growing up, I always had a thing for villains. So seeing a Sith Master and a Sith Apprentice like this, it's like, you know, chills down my spine and just all sorts of excitement seeing them together like that. Even though it's such a shame that Darth Maul didn't get more screen time, in all honesty, he really did deserve more screen time. He's such a cool character.
Mom, you say the biggest problem in this universe is nobody helps each other.
I thought they did such a great job of perceiving Anakin as this bright young boy full of life and full of hope, because later on down the track he obviously changes, right? And, you know, this whole beginning stage and era I thought was very well done in terms of showing, you know, his positivity in life and how he wanted to help people even at such a young age.
Either way, you win.
I'm sorry, but I gotta admit to this. I've always had a thing for Liam Neeson. I just reckon he's the most handsomest thing ever. But yeah, Liam Neeson back in the 90s and early 2000s. Whew! Yeah, he did it for me.
There was no father. I carried him, I gave birth, I raised him. I can't explain what happened.
I always found that interesting, even, you know, as a child, because I got it straight away. I'm thinking in the back of my head, wait, how does that work? But yeah, why not? I mean, anything and everything is possible, right? In this sort of a world. What did I say about the energy beams? Thank you, John Williams. Yet another great music score piece. I thought the young Anakin theme was fantastic as well. I'm not too sure if this was Shimmy's theme or if it was Anakin's theme as well, but really good score track. Thank you, John Williams. Amazing, as always.
Even Master Yoda doesn't have a midichlorian count that high.
No Jedi has.
He's the chosen one. That's what it is. I remember purchasing easily 3 to 4 action figures of Darth Maul alone, because back then they had a fair few of him, but they were all little action figure toys, and I remember having all of his cool little gadgets as well, like the ones that you see over here, including his little mini motor vehicle as well that he uses later on as well. Pretty sure that's miniatures combined with visual effects. Looks great.
I see Ben Guavanello from the clone system.
This scene or sequence was more so extended later on when the DVDs were released, I think it was. So yeah, you do get to see a more full list of characters over here. Jabba the Hutt, the scum of the universe. He looks more clean over here. Gotta love the sound editing over here and what kind of noises they make. It really does sound great. It feels like you're there. You can actually smell it and hear it. What I love about it is the fact that there's no music up until the very end when it's just Anakin and Sebulba. I just think not having music makes it all the more intense and all the more thrilling to watch. I still remember the Nintendo 64 pod race game that we used to have back then. It was so good to play. I used to love that game so much. I'd always play it after school and everything. It was just so much fun. If anyone else played that game, man, you rock. Those were the days. This movie does a great job of combining practical effects with visual effects at times. I think that's the best, when you can actually combine them and they look, you know, immaculate. And that's how skilled Anakin is. God, you would think that if anything can go in that engine that easily, you guys have got no hope then, running those pod races. God, Anakin, what have you got in that engine of yours? It's like super fast. Great shot there. How he's just up in aerial and then he just takes over. That is a crazy explosion shot. Love it. I've always loved that shot.
Any more than you can stop the suns from setting.
Poor Shimi Skywalker. I always felt sorry for her in this one. It just makes it all the more tragic coming to the second and the third, right?
I'll make sure Mom doesn't sell you anything.
Sell me? Oh my!
Poor C-3PO as well. He got stuck in Tatooine for 10 years. Until Anakin came back for him.
I ever see you again?
What does your heart tell you?
Yes.
Poor Annie. Personal attachment, which led to the dark side. I feel ya, man.
Don't look back.
Thank you, John Williams. Yet another beautiful music score piece. God, I used to love his little motor vehicle.
Anakin, drop!
I've got no doubt that was Ray Park's idea to just flip out of the motor vehicle like that and just start fighting him. Looks so good. God, can you imagine having to choreograph a small fight sequence like this with the cloak on? I'd imagine that would be a complete nightmare, but it's Ray Park. He can do anything. He's an amazing stunt actor.
Many things will change when you reach the capital, Annie. But my caring for you will remain.
I care for you too.
It's cute seeing their relationship blossom over here. Never occurred to me that they weren't too far from their ages either. I'm pretty sure it was, what, maybe 4 or 5 year gap of a difference. But obviously that wouldn't really matter so much later on after 10 years later because they're both adults. Well, young adults still. Coruscant always looked amazing for me. It's always interesting to see them come up with amazing city designs in the world of Star Wars.
There is no interest in the common good.
Another amazing headpiece for the Queen.
Ah, hard to see the dark side is.
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say it. I really think it's ridiculous how they decided to go with a CGI Yoda for this movie. Even though he is completely CGI in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I guess it makes all the more sense, of course, to make him CGI for this movie as well. But in the end, I thought it was just a complete devastation for Frank Oz, who did do the puppet work for this movie, and then they decided to get rid of it. I found it quite disrespectful, to be honest with you, the fact that they did that. Because Frank Oz, of course, you know, he's obviously well known for doing such an amazing job of the previous movies as well, with Yoda. It just felt like a bit of a betrayal. But that being said, he does look good over here. But still, I would have preferred the puppet version, Frank Oz's version.
I've sent Padme on an errand.
I'm on my way to the Jedi Temple.
I think this would come second to the first one that I really loved, which was the red one, and now this one over here, this is gorgeous. This one has another piece to it. I think it's the coat that she wears in the round space coming up. Such a cool oval arena. I love it. I reckon it's an amazing design.
This body is not capable of action. I suggest new leadership is needed.
I'm aware that these movies also got a lot of criticism for the fact that it was quite political as well at times. I didn't have any issues with that whatsoever. In fact, I found it even all the more intriguing, to be honest with you, seeing how there was a world of order back then, and that's what it was about, right? It's like there was order, there was a system, and that system fell apart later on, which made it all the more tragic. can't remember if it was in this movie or the next ones where you see E.T. as well, like a little E.T. cameo from Steven Spielberg's movie. That was so cool to see. And of course over here you get to see the Chewbaccas. Ah, there it is! I literally just saw it then. So cool how they did that.
A car. A ship. A speeder.
The boy has talent.
I will sign no treaty, Senator. My fate will be no different than that of our people.
This was a cool costume as well. God, I've lost track of how many costumes this queen has gone through.
Clouded this boy's future is.
I will train him then. I take Anakin as my Padawan learner.
Isn't it interesting how Qui-Gon saw more in Anakin than Yoda did? Considering, you know, Yoda is an all-powerful Jedi. The powerful Jedi, if not, maybe, perhaps. Of course, that is subjective. But yeah, it's interesting how he foresaw more in him.
The Midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides within all living cells.
I know this scene with the whole midichlorian definition got a lot of heat as well from fans. It didn't bother me, to be honest with you. In truth, the way I've always seen the Force is as if people looked upon it as a type of science, really. We as people name air, water, earth and fire as names to distinguish what I believe is to be magic of this world. It just so happens we have discovered how they are and the way they are, but no one knows how it was given to us, right? So that's kind of how I look upon this scene, to be honest. It's just another definition that we give to magic, really.
I welcome your help. Senator Palpatine fears that the Federation means to destroy me.
Another wardrobe change? Although I gotta say, this was probably my least favourite. I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. I think I prefer all the jewellery and the big headpieces and, you know, the colourful dress and everything.
Because we wish to form an alliance. Your Honor, I am Queen Amidala.
That a girl, Padme. That's the way you do it.
Maybe we are being friends.
And just like that, we have world peace on Naboo. Go Queen Amidala. As far as shots go, with the CGI shots and whatnot, I thought maybe perhaps it was this sequence over here, or this particular, you know, moment within the final third act sequence where it was quite weak in terms of, you know, the CGI shots and whatnot. Compared to the rest of the movie, every other shot was quite gorgeous and, you know, beautiful to look at and everything, but over here I feel as though it was probably the weakest. That being said, it's still a very fun, exciting sequence over here. Enter the Trade Federation. Such a cool intro. God, what are the odds of R2-D2 landing in that position right then and there so coincidentally when Anakin needs the ship eventually? I do love the design of these starships. They look so slick. I love it. I remember playing one of the Starship games as well on PlayStation, I think it was, or PlayStation 2. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's funny because being Star Wars and everything, you don't feel as though you get enough outer space sort of battles, right? Although that's not the case, of course. Like, you know, in pretty much every movie, I'm pretty sure there's an outer space battle and everything. You can't help but go, oh, that's just so amazing to see. Yeah, I go in complete awe mode every time I see a battle sequence in outer space. So cool how they come out like that. Nothing but a bunch of robots. Useless robots. It's pretty cool seeing each side's technology and what they have to offer. In the dictionary of this movie, it was quite interesting to read along, you know, with the details and everything, because it's quite detailed with the dictionary and, you know, what each gadget, weapons, and everything to the nitty-gritty sort of details is explained. Ah, another great intro towards an amazing villain. Love it. I love how they don't have to say anything, they just get right into it and fight. Joygasm. I thought it was pure genius to bring in not only an actor, but who is also a stunt actor as well, who is specifically specialized in martial arts as well. Ray Park is the best. I love him. And it's amazing to see him, you know, still being so loyal to the world of Star Wars as well, and its fan base. Hands down, this has got to be one of the most amazing fight sequences ever. I've seen cut sequences of video games, particularly with the old Republic video games. They are freaking amazing. They're just really outstanding. It's just amazing how they choreograph those fight sequences as well for those characters. But over here, it's just something special. You've never seen Jedis and Siths fighting in their prime like this. The choreography is just well done over here. Very well done. Oh, look at Ray Park go. Just relishing in that evil.
We don't have time for this, Captain.
Being an 11-year-old kid, I had never seen an action sequence to this sort of a grand scale where you have 4 sorts of cutscenes divided, right? You have the Queen trying to break into the palace, then you have Anakin having his own little space adventure, you know, trying to destroy the spaceship in outer space. And then you have the dual lightsaber sequence, and then you have the Gongans fighting as well, right? It's literally just joygasm being able to see this sort of a spectacle. I had never seen anything like it, and it just blew my mind away. You can't help but think maybe it's Jar Jar that has the Force as well within him, considering he's got all this luck. These are amazing shots in outer space. And obviously this is meant to set up Anakin being a great pilot as well, right? At such a young age. Duel of Fates has to be one of my favourite theme songs ever. Just an amazing track. Just, oh, it's so exciting. Especially, it just goes so well with this third act sequence over here. Just the energy that, you know, you get from it is it's just another level of excitement. It's funny because in one of the documentaries, George Lucas says, it's not the scene that you're paying attention to, it's the music. And it's so true. Music plays a big role in making a scene, making a movie so much more better. It's just so operatic. Oh, the devastating moment. Not Qui-Gon. He's a babe. I was devastated as a kid when this happened. Look at those moves, man. So awesome. I love you, Ray Park. You're amazing. Ewan McGregor did an amazing job over here as well. Great energy. The both of them. Gets you all excited. I'm kind of hoping that this is something that we get to see again in the future with a movie or a TV series. I really am hoping for this kind of energy to be seen again, especially with the lightsabers. And just like that, he destroys the ship. Oh, but it was a specific sort of an area that he hit. When I first saw this, I was kind of devastated that he died like that, in all honesty, because I just thought he was such a cool character. But then, only recently do I find out that he is still alive. I'm pretty sure, doesn't he appear in the Clone Wars? Yeah, that's right, he does too. He appears in the Clone Wars. Yay, he does survive.
He is the chosen one. Train him.
Ah, poor Qui-Gon. It's a lot of responsibility as well, right? For now Obi-Wan Kenobi to have to take over and look after the kid and train him. How cool does that miniature set look with the CGI ship landing like that?
And you, young Skywalker, we will watch your career with great interest.
Seeing those two meet one another for the first time, it gave me shivers up my spine, even as an 11-year-old kid, because I already knew back then that they were bound to be masters and apprentice, you know. Even Sidious just looking at him like that, looking at this boy who has great talent, right? And to think, you know, the amount of devastation that they will do later on down the track.
Together, we shall bring peace and prosperity to the Republic.
I always did say the ultimate evil never plays the evil role, right? He makes it out as if he is a good person when really he's the mastermind behind all of this that's, you know, plotting to destroy everything. And that is the ultimate evil, doing it secretly without anyone knowing, right?
But which was destroyed, the master or the apprentice?
Yeah, he's right there. He's been under your nose this whole time. Amazing how he's managed to cover it up, even from the Jedi, right? That means he is quite powerful. It's cute the way they walk and everything. Man, I want me whatever that is. It looks so cool. Give me that magical orb. Ah, love it. Still love it after all these years. I still absolutely love it after all these years. It still sparks the same joy and excitement that I had 25 years ago when I first watched it. The biggest highlight for me would definitely have to be the music. John Williams does such an amazing job of giving something new to the world of Star Wars. There are so many great tracks over here that are just so unique and so special. Particularly Anakin and Shmi Skywalker's themes over here, they're just really outstanding. Very emotional tracks. But of course, let's not forget Duel of Fates. I mean, Duel of Fates is just one of those tracks that is just unforgettable. I can't get enough of it. I remember buying the soundtrack as well, back when they were released in CD form. Another highlight is the third act sequence. As I said before, I love how it's divided into 4 parts, where you have the Queen, you have the Gungans, you have Anakin, and you have the lightsaber fight as well. It's very thrilling, and as I said, I had never seen anything like that before. Another highlight would definitely have to be the story for me. I absolutely loved being introduced to these characters again. Some were old and some were new, but yeah, it was all the more exciting to see their origins being blossomed over here, particularly Anakin's. Anakin's was very fun to watch, and being an 11-year-old kid, it obviously resonated with me all the more. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this one as well. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know what you thought about this flick, what you liked, what you disliked. Was this also something that you loved just as much as I did? I would really like to know. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you all next time. Take care!